it's on greenbelt lands, and the very essence of greenbelt land is that it is protected and it shouldn't be built upon. It helps maintain distinction and difference between different communities. It maintains the openness of our countryside, and these proposals would just literally run a road all over that. Our countryside would be replaced by sort of concrete blocks, essentially merging our villages.
This episode is supported by the Bishop Stortford community newsletter. There's so much happening in town, it's hard to keep up. New businesses opening, community events, local stories, and opportunities for all of us to get involved and make Bishop Stortford a great place to live. That's why we created a free weekly newsletter that brings together the best of Bishop Stortford in one place. There's no endless scrolling, no hunting through Facebook groups, just the stories, events, and local updates that matter. If you'd like to stay connected to what's happening in Bishop Stortford, sign up using the link in the show notes. Okay, back to the episode. Welcome to the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast, the show where we shine a light on the incredible businesses, community leaders, and local legends shaping our town and community. I'm your host, James O'Donnell, and today we are joined by Lauren and Lynn. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Hello. For those of us who don't know you yet, who are you and what do you do here in Bishop Stortford?
Well, my name's Lynn Madison. I have lived in Stortford for nearly 40 years now. I currently work for the NHS, but I guess the reason you have us on today is to talk about the work that we've been doing to try and help protect and preserve the greenbelt land around where we live.
And I'm Lauren Channing, and I'm a primary school teacher who works locally, and I've lived in Bishop Stortford for about 34 years.
Fantastic. So, part of the community, you're here to talk about Save Our Villages, the campaign to save the Greenbelt. Where are we at? Talk to me about what the problem is and what you're trying to help.
It started back in 2024, didn't it? November 24, we all got leaflets through our doors about a consultation that was going on about 1,100 houses being built on our greenbelt, and we went along to a public meeting and decided that this was something that our villages couldn't cope with. Stansted and Birchanger just could not cope with the sheer volume of homes that were proposed to be built on that land. So we formed a little group, and that little group has kind of gained a little bit of power over the last 18 months. And up until last fortnight, we've been battling and campaigning to bring people on board and save our villages.
Yeah, I think we were just really shocked when we first saw the leaflets that Lauren talked about. It was about developing on land that we believed was protected. It's on greenbelt lands, and the very essence of greenbelt land is that it is protected and it shouldn't be built upon. It helps maintain distinction and difference between different communities. It maintains the openness of our countryside, and these proposals would just literally run a road all over that. Our countryside would be replaced by sort of concrete blocks, essentially merging our villages. And I think a big spanner that we had thrown in the works that came along was the new directive around greybelt land and whether the land was greenbelt or was greybelt. And I think what we feel really hopeful about is that a couple of weeks ago, the planning committee decided that actually this would harm the greenbelt and it can't just be thought of as greybelt land, which it's proven that it's not.
And up until last week, we were doing all we can to campaign and to raise awareness, but we were up against a large company that develop homes all across the country, really, and they have a really good reputation for building homes that people want to live in. So we just wanted to make sure that, we let them know it wasn't the right place to build those homes, and it would almost double the residents in the village, particularly ours. It was 180 homes behind our houses, and there's only 480 odd people in our village. So it would increase that village population by just under half, which our roads can't take and our infrastructure can't take either.
Quick pause, because this episode is supported by StortAI. Most businesses know AI is probably going to help their business in one way or the other. The problem is they're so busy running their business, they don't know where to start, they don't know what questions to ask. That's where StortAI comes in. We sit down with businesses, look at how things actually work day to day, and identify simple ways to save time, reduce admin, and improve systems using AI and other automation tools. There's no jargon or complicated technology. It's just practical ideas to make life just a little bit easier as a business owner. If you're curious about what AI could do for your business, have a look at StortAI in the show notes. Okay, back to the episode. This must have brought the communities together so much.
Yeah.
And you must have made new friends almost actually through doing that. What's it
really
like
has.
going up against, a big business like that? That's, they probably do this every day. This is their job, but you guys are having to come together and spend your spare time in fighting them.
I mean, what's particularly interesting is that the company behind these proposals is actually based in Stansted, Mount Fitchie, which really shocked us because they know and appreciate the countryside that we were surrounded by. That was a bit of a shock. But yeah, I think we've felt absolutely amazed and really heartened by the fact that the communities have come together. People in Stansted and Birchanger do feel really passionately about it. As Lauren was saying, we live in Birchanger, and every single person that we've spoken to in the village is against this for the reasons we've outlined. It is greenbelt land. Our infrastructure can't cope with it. And people see that, we're not anti-houses, we're just making sure that houses are built in the right places. And this would just be craziness. This is about putting profit before people, really.
And actually, we had so many people wanting to get on board with this. We had so many volunteers giving up their weekends, knocking on doors, printing leaflets for us, wanting to display banners outside their house. And it really did pull the community together. We were always hopeful that we would make a difference, but I don't think we anticipated just how big a difference.
Yeah, I mean, together, the developers split the proposals in two. So there's one for Birchanger and one for Stansted. And each proposal had 800 people objecting to it, which is sort of almost unprecedented for a new housing development in such a small community. So I think when it went before the planning committee, they were absolutely amazed and could really see that there really was backlash against these, and that, the community did need to be listened to. And that it was all about, it was all made on valid points. It's not about NIMBYism. It's about making sure that houses aren't built in the wrong places.
And it certainly inspired a few other groups up and down the country. We've been contacted by 3 separate groups who want to do the same, and they're facing the same troubles. And I think our little group has been a bit of an inspiration because we're a small village. We've made a big difference at the moment, and we're just hoping to continue making a difference with what we're campaigning against.
And where are we in that journey?
We went to a planning committee meeting on the 10th of June, and the planning committee refused the applications. But new legislation that came out in May states that anything over 150 units has to be almost ratified by the Secretary of State. So although we're at a refuse decision at the moment, it needs to still go to the Secretary of State to be formally refused. So we're just hoping to hear soon whether that has been the case.
And we then have to wait and see if the developer is going to appeal the decision. We're really hopeful that they don't, given that there were some, it was a unanimous decision at the planning committee for very valid reasons that this was recommended for refusal. But being a big developer, they may throw more money at it and go to appeal. So we're really sort of urging people to not think, we've won the battle, but we've not won the war. So we want people still to get behind us, still to keep an eye out for what's happening and see what the next steps is and how we can all work together to help prevent these developments from taking place.
Yeah, I saw in the Indeed today that I think there has been an appeal lodged by the developers. So I think, the battle continues.
Ongoing,
continues the war.
We've been at
goes
work
on.
all day, literally.
But it's something that we've been expecting.
We have been,
Yeah, we almost knew it was going to happen.
So that you got the community support there. Have you got much other support from the wider community? The rest of into Bishop Stortford.
Well, yeah, we have. Lauren was probably just about to say, but at the planning committee, somebody from the Chris Wilson, who works both for Bishop Stortford Town Council, but also as East Hearts Council, came along and spoke about what this would mean for Bishop Stortford and why Bishop Stortford Council absolutely and East Hearts Council didn't support this. They were extremely concerned about the infrastructure implications. Road traffic in Bishop Stortford, as we all know, is really chock-a-block. So they talked a lot about their concerns and about how these new developments would be using the infrastructure in Bishop Stortford. So he was very supportive, and we've had lots of supports and letters of objections from residents in Bishop Stortford as well.
Yeah, I think the community feel is strong actually, and that's not just Birchanger, it's Stansted as well. And it takes me on average about 8 minutes to get to work, but as soon as roadworks go up, that almost doubles. I work 5 miles away. So I think everybody is feeling it, and particularly Stortford being such a big town. It does have a lot of things that people would rely on in a small village like Birchanger and Stansted. You know, you've got the bigger supermarkets, you've got the town centre and the restaurants, and that's something that both villages really would rely on if those houses went ahead. And we certainly rely on them now, so it wouldn't be any difference with more houses.
And so what now for the future? You know, the battle continues. What more can people do to support the work that you and the rest of the community are doing?
I think just raising awareness, because the amount of developments that go up and people aren't aware of the planning process, they almost see it too late. But the minute you get a consultation letter through your door, you've got to go and make a difference. You've got to go and use your voice. And if you just want to know a little bit more, our website, saveourvillages.co.uk, will give you a run account of exactly how things happen. And it's got a timeline of our event and where we're at now. But there are new developments springing up all over the place, and a lot of them have the grey belt, green belt argument. So it goes to show that these things can be won, and these things can be challenged almost. And it's not a done deal. Things can happen to really make a difference and stop these developments.
Who knows, you know, what the next steps are going to be, but hope, you know, it sounds like there's so much local support for what you're trying to protect. What we'll do is we'll put a link to the Save Our Villages website in the show notes so people can go and check that out. It's incredible for a little local, you know, community that you put together. That website looks great. And we'll also put links to any socials that you've got in there so people can follow that along. So thank you for, you know, bringing that to our attention, and hopefully a few more eyeballs, maybe some people that weren't aware of the arguments, they'll now be able to, you know, lend their support.
That'd be great.
And can I just add that it's all been done voluntarily. So our website was built by somebody who was very experienced in websites. All of our leafleting, all of our campaign material, it was all done by volunteers. So it's not just us. It has taken a whole village to get to this point.
It really has.
And people giving up their time and even their own money to make a difference. It really has taken a whole village.
It takes a village to save a village.
Quite literally.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, both of you. Are you ready for some Stortford Spotlight questions now?
Go for it.
Yeah.
This episode is being supported by one of my businesses, a brilliant local business called StortBox. If you've ever moved house, you'll know the pain of hunting for cardboard boxes, building them, taping them up, and then figuring out what to do with them afterwards. StortBox makes moving simpler with strong, reusable moving crates delivered straight to your door and collected when you're finished. Less stress, less waste, and a much easier move. It's a local business helping local people move smarter. So have a look at StortBox in the show notes below and see if it can make your next move a little bit easier. Okay, back to the episode. These are 3 super fast questions we ask every guest that comes onto the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast. And that community spreads far and wide. First question. If you could put one sentence on a billboard in Jackson Square, what would it say and who needs to hear it the most?
Don't be afraid to use your voice. And I think that could go for anyone in any situation.
Absolutely. If I was to say something, I guess mine would be about enjoy the open space. We're so lucky in Bishop Stortford and the surrounding areas to be surrounded by so much green space. And I think, you know, we go about our daily lives rushing from A to B, but actually just taking some time out to enjoy all the open space that we have on our doorstep. It's really good for not just physical health, but mental health as well. And I think, you know, we don't want to lose it.
Yeah. A lot of people on the podcast talk about the open space and being able to get out into nature to, you know, reconnect. And we are lucky around here. You know, that's why I celebrate the community, because we're lucky with the people that are in it and also our locations. It's fantastic. Thank you both. Question 2, where do you go in Stortford that you secretly hope never gets too popular?
I think this is the same for both of us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Birchanger Woods. Yeah.
We're lucky. Birchanger Woods.
Perfect.
Yeah, and it straddles. We've got it on our doorstep in Birchanger, but obviously it's in Bishop Stortford as well. So it's split down the middle, but they want to. So yeah, I think it's just such an amazing resource and lovely, beautiful, tranquil place. And when I go anyway, it's never busy. Often you can go and it can be deserted.
And
and
early morning dog walks are just bliss.
And it's such a hot day today that I'd give anything to be walking in Birchanger Woods right now and cool down.
In the shade, walking along. Yeah, fantastic. Great recommendation. And apt as well, based on what we're talking about. And last question, who's doing something special in town that more people need to know about?
So as you know, we're quite passionate about green space. And there's an organisation called Grow Green Spaces Stortford, which is basically regenerating the towpath in Bishop Stortford along the river with wildflowers and just making it a haven for wildlife, really. And that's something that's really caught our attention lately.
And obviously, as Lauren was saying earlier, our own, volunteers, our own little community groups that have got together and behind this campaign, and we think we're doing a lot of good as well in terms of helping to keep our local communities and the character that they have and are lucky enough to have.
I think it's fantastic. The people in the community that invest their time, energy into these kind of projects is what makes the town, the community all around here such a special place, because there are people that care and do, give up their time and their energy and money often to make it better.
There are so many amazing groups and volunteers doing amazing work. I think a lot of us just don't know about it all, so it's great that's been celebrated.
Yeah, so that's what I'm here for. Shine a light, so more people know about what's going on. Apart from the website, is there what your social media handles so people can follow along with the work that you're doing?
We have a Facebook group, the Birchanger and Stansted Greenbelt Preservation, and a few simple questions, and you can join that. And that gives a really good timeline, actually, starting from November 2024. And you'll be able to see updates. We've updated it quite regularly and just get people up to date with things that are happening that maybe have, been forgotten. The minute you do your objection and that's your job done, but actually there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that we've updated on that Facebook page. And I'm sure we'll continue to update it as the appeal begins. So we're still campaigning.
Brilliant. Well, we'll link to the Facebook group and the website so people can see the work that you're doing, and if anybody else can lend support or advice or consultation to your efforts, I'm sure the wider community can help out there.
We'd love anybody with sort of expertise in particular areas, whether it's anything to do with transport or law or whatever their speciality might be. The more experts, the better, as well as more general community volunteers.
Any sort of legal, legal expertise as well, because with appeals, we need that knowledge.
Yeah, that's a really good shout out, actually. We'll include that as well. So if anybody's interested, they can reach out. I'm sure there's emails and contacts on your website so they can do that. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that and the journey that you're on. I wish you all the best going forward. And
Thank you.
If there's any updates, let me know and I can share them on the community group.
Amazing,
as well.
Thank
More
you.
than happy to do that.
Thanks.
That's a wrap. That's your first podcast done. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us today on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast.
Thank you for having us.
And if you've enjoyed this episode, the best way to support the show is to hit follow, leave a quick review on YouTube, Apple or Spotify, and then share it on your socials so more people in the community can see what we're doing, see what Save Our Villages are doing in the community, and maybe share it with someone in town who's not on social media but loves Birchanger Woods and doesn't know about the work and the efforts that Lynn and Lauren are going through to save the villages. And if you've got a local legend, someone who's investing in the community to make it a better place for all of us to live in, that you think we should feature on the podcast, drop their name in the comments below and I can reach out to them and invite them on the podcast. Again, Lynn and Lauren, thank you so much for joining us on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.